All right, what is up, Notre Dame fans? We are joined by a very special guest today for the first installment of WOPU Wednesdays, a new YouTube series that we're going to have for you guys every week with a Notre Dame walk-on. Today, our first guest for WOPU Wednesdays is Michael Vinson, Notre Dame's starting long snapper, aka Milk. And we're going to start right there, Michael. How does somebody acquire the nickname Milk?
Right. So my freshman year, 2018, Tyler Newsome, our punter, he nicknamed the specialist unit the cheese unit. And when I came to campus and came to camp, I had to earn my cheese status, if you will. So he gave me the temporary nickname of Milk, and then he introduced me to all the guys on the team as Milk, all the strength staff, the support staff, the coaching staff as Milk, and then it just kind of stuck. It was the rest is kind of history, and now I'm just known as Milk, going on my fourth year here.
Important questions. Do you even like milk? Do you drink milk, or are you just milk?
I do like milk. I do like drinking milk a lot, so that also kind of
What-
name.
What's your go-to? Whole milk, 2%? What kind of milk
Oh,
guy
two
are
percent, 2%, definitely 2%. It's actually kind of funny that I like 2% because Khalid Kareem, when he was here, he used to call me 2%.
you? Yeah, that's a little better than just milk all the time, I'm sure. But you
Right.
kind of owned it. It's who you are at this point. Some other things that we want to know about you. What are some of your personal interests? What do you do off the field? What kind of drives your day to day when you're not playing football for Notre Dame?
My interests, when I'm not busy with schoolwork, being a part of WAPU, we have to hold our own in the classroom. But in my free time, I love playing card games. Me and my roommate, Kurt Heinisch, who's also a captain, him and I play gin rummy all the time. It's a great card game. I love to play golf with my roommates, Kurt, Drew, and Myron when he tags along with us. And I also really love to barbecue and then also just kind of grill out in general.
So we'll pick apart all of those things right there. Who's the best card player in the house? I know you also live with Myron Tagovailoa Mosa and Drew White as well. And it's all four of you guys with Kurt Heinisch in that house. Who's the best card player of the four?
Uh, That's tough because me, Kurt, and Drew usually play a lot. Over the past couple weeks, it's been Kurt and I. We try to get a game in every night. I'd like to say I win them most of the time, but that's just not true. Kurt's probably one of the best card players in the house. Drew's up there too, but we all have our nights. If I get a really good hand, then I'll win the game. But if not, I got to do a little fighting.
Surely you've got to be the best golfer among the four.
Right. That I can take the throne for that. Definitely
Yeah.
that.
I know you're wearing a WAPU Open shirt. Where was that? How did you fare? I know you're a pretty big golf guy.
So I was paired up with Chris Vallata, who's another member of WAPU, and it was held at the Burt Golf Course here on campus, and it was a 9-hole scramble between the two of us. Didn't have the best outcome, but I love playing with Vallata. It was a lot of fun, and then there was actually a scholarship team, which was Kurt and Drew. So we were paired up with Kurt, Drew, and then me and Vallata, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of trash talking. That might have thrown my game off a little bit, but a lot of fun. And Jake Rittman and Greg Maley were the champions, I
Who's the
believe.
best golfer on the team? WAPU aside, scholarship guys included. Is it you, or who's got the best scores out?
Um, Kyle Hamilton's really good. He's really really good. I like to play with him a lot. We played a lot over the summer. Um, Tyler Buckner's really good golfer. Um, and then there's a couple other guys that are pretty good that are on the come up. Cam Hart's been putting a lot of work on the range. He's been doing really well. John Doerr's actually a pretty good golfer too. And don't sleep on Jay Bramblett. He's also a good golfer. But Jake Rittman, really good golfer. There's a lot of good golfers on the team. And then
Sounds
also
like
Kurt Drew, myself. We are the defending Brian Kelly Cup champions. Not a lot of people know that. I like to remind a lot of people of that around the Goog that we are still the defending champions, even though we haven't done it in 2 years. So we could say we're three-time champs because no one has dethroned us.
I know you also mentioned cooking. Are you the best cook on the team? And I know Brian Kelly might say otherwise. We'll get to that. But first of all, what do you like to cook? And would you say that you can grill it up better than anybody else?
Now this is tricky because we did have a steak cook-off over the summer. I cooked a beautiful T-bone steak, perfect medium rare. I had cross grill marks. I seared it. It was perfect. But we unfortunately did not win because the steak was not the only thing that we had to make. We had to do sides and presentation. The team that won, the linebackers, they just if I'm at a restaurant and I see a corn on the cob underneath my steak, I don't think that's cool. But apparently that was creative and won. But I think I'm definitely one of the best grillers on the team. Definitely barbecue, hands down. I don't think anyone else has a smoker on the team. I'd be shocked. And I love doing it. I love what barbecue's about, bringing the guys together, eating barbecue together. For the Super Bowl, I made the house a prime or not prime, pulled pork, and it was really good. And then over the summer, when a lot of guys were over, I would make brisket, and we all just kind of hang out. And everyone's invited to a barbecue at this house.
So if you guys haven't seen the Brian Kelly quote, I actually asked Kelly about Michael's cooking, and I don't know if it was just Kelly being a prankster, cracking a joke, but he said, this was after he had just said a lot of great things about you, and he said, the thing that you also don't know about Michael is that he's a liar. So when he says that he's a good cook, that's not true. What did you make of that when Kelly said that? And has he had your cooking, and what does he actually think about it if he has?
He hasn't had it. So maybe I think he was just a little bit disappointed that he hasn't had it. I will definitely get around to that this year. And then maybe at another press conference, you can ask him how did it taste. And I think he's gonna really enjoy the barbecue. But yeah, Coach Kelly, he's a funny guy.
Football is one of the main things you do on campus. Let's talk a little bit about what you do as a long snapper specifically. It's kind of one of the unsung hero positions on the team, I would say. I mean, you're out there a whole bunch, and if things go awry with what you do, then it impacts the whole team. So, how much pride do you take in your position, the role that you play on the team, and just how important is it from your perspective?
I take a lot of pride in it. I worked really hard at my craft, and to have the trust of the guys that line up next to me that I'm going to do my job and they're going to do their job, and then Coach Kelly putting his trust in me and Coach Poling and everyone on staff. I want them to not be nervous at all if we have a game-winning field goal like down at Florida State in overtime. I knew that I was going to execute my job because I take great pride in my work, and I knew Jay was going to do his job holding, and I knew Dor was going to do his job kicking the field goal. I think
How
our special.
satisfying is that when you're out there for ultimately the play that won the game? I mean, that's a walk off. That's the last play of an overtime game. You guys had spent 4 hours to get to that point, and you're one of the last guys to touch the ball, and you see that ball go through the uprights, and that's a victory for you guys.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that was a great feeling. I'll have that memory, forever. But it's just another snap. You can't get lost in the moment. You can't get distracted by the crowd, the scoreboard. I've snapped the ball over a million times, and this one was no different. Because if you start to take into account, oh, this is the game-winning snap, like if you sail over the holder's head, they're going to scoop and score, and you guys are going to lose. If you start to do that, then you're not focused on your job, and then that stuff does happen. So just really being locked into what I'm doing rather than what's around me is really important.
Absolutely. And then obviously the next week you guys returned home for your home opener. Just how awesome was it to have all those fans in Notre Dame Stadium, especially when the game comes down to the line the way it did again. And, they really got loud in that fourth quarter and helped cheer you guys on to victory.
Yeah, having the fans back was awesome. One of my favorite parts about coming from the hotel to the stadium is just driving by all the tailgates. And then there's this one really cool part where there's this police officer that brings up all these kids and they wave to us on the bus, and that's my favorite part of the drive. Last year we didn't get to experience that because of COVID. Nobody could really be in the stands except for students, staff, and family. And looking up into the crowd and seeing all the students there who we go to class with, looking up, seeing all the people in the community that support us, I think it was a really special moment for me. and it was really, really fun.
All right, we couldn't end this video without showing another video, and it's a video of you, Michael, from your freshman year at Notre Dame. Kind of walk us through this. Nelly is playing Here Comes the Boom in the background, and you're kind of going crazy, beating your chest, screaming, and then it goes into some looks like some old footage of you snapping, kind of like a hype video for a recruitment almost. Just kind of what's going on here? What are we looking at?
Yeah, so those are three separate videos. The first one, that was from production day, my freshman year. I was really excited. And they needed someone to bring the energy, and I love bringing energy to the group, and I was just really excited because this was my first production day. The second one, I was at a Rubio long snapping camp in Chicago, and I think it was sophomore year of high school, and as you could see, it was not that great. I had a little arm injury, but no excuses. It was just not great. I just didn't have a good day. And then the last video was a Rubio long snapping event in Las Vegas where about 500 long snappers come together and we all compete for the number one spot. And so we do different things at the Vegas camp than what we do at the regional camps. And the Vegas camp, what happens is we have one day of just all drill work, and then the next day is all competition. So this was part of the competition day where we show off our athleticism or lack of athleticism, as you just saw. Um, and it was a lot of fun. So you had to snap and then run around the cones and do like a mat drill almost, like roll around the ground and get up and go tackle the pop up. It was a lot of fun. Our kicker Harrison Leonard, part of WAPU Nation, he puts together videos every week of members on the team, and this was one of the videos, and yeah, it was great. Harry does a great job. He's awesome. He gets all of WAPU fired up for the game, and he does a really nice job with that.
That's one of those videos that's gonna live in infamy for better or worse for you. I'm sure people will always
Oh,
be bringing
definitely,
that up.
definitely, especially the second one with those snaps. I think Harry found it, and then he sent it to some guys in the team, and then word spread, and then yeah, I kind of got made fun of for it. So
Well, awesome, Michael. I really appreciate you joining us today for the first installment of WAPU Wednesdays. I know we're going to have a lot of awesome guests, and you kicked it off strongly for us. But before we let you go, just kind of want to let you have the floor and say anything you want about Augie's Locker Room, who is sponsoring this video. And I know they've got an NIL deal with the WAPU Nation at Notre Dame as well. So what's going on at Augie's, and what do you got to say about them?
right, Augie's locker room. I mean, that place it's a really neat place. They have amazing Notre Dame sports memorabilia. You walk in there and it's like you're kind of time traveling. He has stuff there from a couple years ago all the way back to when Rudy was playing, the leather helmets. He has really, really good stuff there. And if you're ever in town for a game, I highly, highly recommend go check out Augie's locker room. He's got great things in there, and he's even a better person.
Well, it wouldn't be a WAPU Wednesday without a Rudy mention, and we'll leave it at that. Michael, thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Go Wapu.